This is that other clone 30. That's at 25 and 24 and a half, 24.6. That's good flavor. It's just a little more developed.
Are you getting any fruit from Oregon?
Yeah, I personally am not this year. Cana's Feast is, of course, Pinot, and I'm not getting any fruit from Oregon right now. All of my fruit is coming out of either in the Meadowa area, up at John Dalber's place, in Sangiovese, and then I'm getting more Sangiovese at in the Horse Heaven Hills, up at Mike Andrews' place, Coyote Canyon. And what else am I getting? Oh, and I got some other products there for the Passamento program. Like I say, I got some of this Brunello for the Passamento program. I got some a little bit of Grenache and a little bit of Barbera. And that's what will make the Passamento.
Well, explain that process.
Well, we picked it, as I said, just slightly not as ripe as you would for fresh winemaking. Okay? So I picked it at typically somewhere between 23 and a half to 24, 24 and a half, no more than that is the ideal. And then we take the fruit and just very carefully we cut it and we lay them into hand lugs very, very carefully. It takes them a lot longer to do that, but we can't damage any of the fruit. And so we take those into the hand lugs and then transport them down to the warehouse where it's refrigerated, and we can control the amount of humidity and temperature. And then I built some large racks. They're about 5 by 10, something like that. Those racks they're really like mats. And then I have everybody very carefully lay out those clusters so that they're obviously you want them as tight as possible, but for space reasons. But then you can't have them touching each other either. So it takes a bit of time. And at that point, they do a very, very careful sort. Even though we've handled everything very carefully here, if there's some damage, that doesn't go in. And or if we see some really severely underripe fruit, or if we have green berries, we pick them off there, because once we dry it, we're not going to see those differences. So those are laid out, and then we bring the temperature down from, well, it came in at about 57, so we brought it down the next day to 52, and we're going to continue to lower that to about 40 to 45 degrees. And keep a relative humidity of no more than 75%, but not less than 50. Okay, it's very important to have the right humidity. Any more than 75% will start to get rot, which is the bane of the whole process. And then less than that, and we get too rapid a processing. Drying of the fruit. We want to get that down to about lose about 30 to 35% of the water, which essentially was what's happening. And that'll take 3 to 4 months. So probably in January, we'll take that, pull them all off, and then crush the fruit and ferment it as you would normally. And what happens is that even though it's slightly underripe fruit, in that process, it doesn't just concentrate sugars, it concentrates flavors and actually transforms the flavors and aromatics of the wine. It's a very unusual thing, but it gives you a certain aromatic and a certain quality in the palate that's kind of, some have likened it to a velvet hammer. It just has force and power, but in a beautiful, attractive way. And there's really nothing quite like it. It can't be duplicated. So this is what's typically called, it's done in the Veneto region. and it's known as Amarone or Ricciotto for the sweet one. We're just making the dry one, and I call it secco passa. Secco being dry, and passa being the appassamento method of drying the fruit and then making the wine from that. So that's how it works.
Sounds like a lot of work.
It is. And it's it's an accountant's nightmare. So you pick this stuff very, very carefully by hand. You get rid of anything that isn't perfect, and then you proceed to lose at least 1/3 of it, right? So that you can then make the wine. Anyway, and hope it doesn't rot and all the other things in the process. That's really what happens. So it's you can see why it's not done on large commercial scales here, and it hasn't been duplicated or replicated a whole lot outside of the Veneto. But I've been working with the folks at Mossi for 6-7 years or more. No, more than that. And they've been very, very helpful to me, working through the process, helping me understand it. And been very supportive. And every year I take back my wines and we try them against theirs and so forth to see how we're developing. And the results have been very, very rewarding. So it is a very expensive process. It's time consuming. I'm not sure I'd want to do a huge amount more than I'm currently doing. Currently I'm doing about 5 to 6 tons of fresh fruit, which gets me down to about 3.5 to 4 tons of dried fruit. It's not a whole lot of production, but right now I just continue to improve the process, make it better, and maybe slowly grow the program when I find which fruit seems to work best. Because we don't have they're using primarily Corvina. We don't have Corvina in this country. At least not up here. So I'm working with some other varieties like Sangiovese, Barbera, Grenache. I work with Nebbiolo. I work with Pinot. I work with Syrah. And I'll continue. This year I'm going to be working with a couple others as well, just to see how they do, and see what the right combination is for that product here in the Pacific Northwest. So. Yeah, that's but it's fun, as long as we don't go crazy, it'll be fun.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Gino.
You bet.